So ladies and gentlemen, once again, as you can all see with the title, the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about the situation going on over in Maine surrounding women's sports. This story, man, it continues to go on because of people like woke Governor Janet Mills, who, boy, is all for the stunning, brave, progressive, woke agendas. It gets so tiresome. Now, for anybody who isn't caught up with this whole situation, with Trump recently signing an executive order banning men from women's sports, we have seen a few states like Maine refusing to comply because apparently keeping men in women's sports is very, very important to these people. They insist on living in the land of delusion, but whilst these insane Democrat politicians still don't get the message, I think it's safe to say most people are tired of this. Now, because Maine has refused to comply with this order and is allowing men to compete in women's sports, Trump went ahead and hit back at Janet Mills in the White House for doing so, and it gave us this now viral face-off between the both of them, and Trump wasn't playing around, man. He let her know what's up.
I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
Yeah, one of the best moments we've seen in quite some time. I don't know what will be that, but ever since Maine has made it clear that they are refusing to comply with this executive order, again, because of people like woke Governor Janet Mills, there has been an investigation into a Title IX violation, and we actually have an update surrounding that, but I'm not only going to be talking about that in this video. You'll also remember a couple of weeks ago, I reported on the protests that took place against the woke governor in Maine, and once again the people out in Maine have shown they are tired of this woke nonsense. I don't get why these Democrat politicians just can't see what's in front of them. It's like they have Stevie Wonder syndrome. Wait, what? No, I can't see that. Wait, we have to allow men to compete. It's absolutely ridiculous. But according to reports, hundreds rallied to oppose Maine's policy on allowing trans athletes in women's sports. It's great to see, man. You know, this is what people need to do. They need to come together and say enough is enough. Now, before we get into this one, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you could, make sure to leave a like rating, as it really, really helps out the video. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, and let's get into this one. So first and foremost, as you can see, the Bangor Daily News have reported Trump administration gives Maine 10 days to change transgender athlete rules, and this article was posted a few days ago now, so time is quickly running out. The Trump administration on Monday gave Maine officials 10 days to resolve alleged Title IX violations by signing an agreement that would require the state to change its policy around transgender high school athletes and return nearly $187,000 in federal funds. This is what happens when you side with delusion. You know, it's not going too well. I told you, the Trump administration, they ain't playing around. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office of Civil Rights made the offer after determining that the Maine Principals Association, which oversees high school sports in the state and Greeley High School in Cumberland, had violated the landmark federal civil rights law by allowing a transgender girl to compete on the Greeley girls track team. Wow, so stunning, so brave. Well done to you. But that was according to the copy of the notice and the agreement obtained by the Bangor Daily News. The federal government has claimed the state is violating Title IX by failing to comply with Trump's executive order barring transgender girls from girls' athletics, a rationale that legal experts have called dubious. State officials have refused to comply with the order because it would violate the Maine Human Rights Act. Get out of here, man. How have we reached a point where the feelings of these individuals, these dudes, has been placed on a higher pedestal when it comes to this whole issue? It just doesn't make any sense. In the meantime, 6 federal agencies have investigated or targeted Maine since last month in an effort to force the state into submission. There are only 2 trans girls competing in Maine high school sports, according to the Maine Principals Association, and none at the state's public universities. Look, it doesn't matter if there's 10, 7, 5, 2, 1. There should be none. Lana Hayes, a spokesperson for the Maine Attorney's General Office, said the state was reviewing the proposed agreement from the Health and Human Services Department and declined to comment any further. The violation letter said that the matter had been referred to the U.S. Department of Justice, meaning the federal government might sue Maine if state officials don't accept the government's proposed terms within the next 10 days. Again, this is what happens when you side with insanity, craziness, the woke agendas. People are tired of it. Those terms, outlined in an 8-page proposal agreement sent to the state on Monday, confirms a finding by OCR that the MDOE, MPA, and Greeley are in non-compliance with Title IX. The federal government started the clock after meeting with the representatives from those entities last week on March 12th, and state education officials would not sign or provide a counteroffer to the government's proposal, according to the agreement. The Maine Principals Association would be required to reverse its policy on allowing trans girls to compete in post-secondary girls sports, and Greeley would only field teams in compliance with that new policy, the proposal states. Right, let's just put all the crap to the side for a second. It is such a simple solution, right? Just keep boys in boys sports and girls in girls sports. It is that simple. But as I always say, you know, simple solutions that way are stunning a brave liberal society. Oh, no, let's just go in that direction. It seems better. It's going to be interesting to see whether Maine changes their stance on things. You know, as I said, this article was posted a few days ago, so who knows what is going to happen? What do you think will happen, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think they'll reverse their decision? I'd like to know. Probably not. But moving on now to the second story, and again, this is great to see. MainePublic.org have reported rally to oppose Maine's policy on transgender athletes draws crowd in Augusta. Several hundred people rallied at the State House on Saturday to oppose policies allowing transgender athletes to compete in girls and women's sports in Maine. Rallygoers held signs declaring "Protect our girls" and "No men in women's sports" as they listened to roughly a dozen speakers. Those included a high school athlete from Presque Isle, I hope I got that right, my pronunciations are terrible, who said she had to compete against biological males. What an absolute disgrace, and multiple Republican state lawmakers repeated claims that Maine's policy puts young female competitors at an unfair competitive disadvantage as well as at physical risk. I don't get how that's a claim, because it's a fact, and I swear these news outlets are supposed to report the facts, right? Very odd, isn't it? We all know men have the biological advantage. Those are the facts. So it does put young female competitors at an unfair competitive disadvantage as well as a physical risk. Plain and simple. But just like last time, let's check out some video footage of this protest. Lily Tang Williams posts on X, Papa Bears are coming out in Maine to protest at Governor Janet Mills, forcing girls to compete against men. This is great to see in our country. Stand with our daughters. Yeah, this is great to see, man. I've always said, you know, it's good to see women and girls standing up for this issue, but they need the men too, because at the end of the day, it is a man's duty to protect women and girls, their wives, their daughters, etc., etc. And this woke agenda that these liberals love so much is not doing that. It is harming them. But let's check out quickly this 13-second clip. Love to see it, man. People need to come together. And you know what? It's not like a paid protest like you see with many leftist agendas, right, like BLM and others. The Maine Wire have also gone on to post on X. Mainers came together this weekend at a moving protest for the fight to protect women and girls, and they have posted a clip that is almost 3 minutes long, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to get straight into it.
For decades, female athletes have fought for the right to compete on a level playing field, one that recognizes biological differences while ensuring that women have the same opportunities to succeed. But today, that fairness is under threat.
Just to speak objectively about what we've seen over the last 6 years, a slide into crazy town. You know, we've got policies in this state that require therapists to push patients towards transgenderism and make it illegal to do otherwise. We've got policies in this state that allow 16 and 17-year-olds to get sex change hormones without their parents' knowledge or consent.
That is absolutely insane.
Schools, a very deliberate effort in our schools to put transgenderism, critical race theory ahead of the basics, reading, writing, and arithmetic. All of this has happened over the last 6 years, and anyone who objected to it was bullied into silence. They were bullied into silence, and finally now, I think that the tide is turning.
If you want to break a girl's spirit, and possibly even her body, if you want to remove opportunity and earn victory, and diminish her glorious history, and if you want her to withdraw from participation in this very important stage of her life, then you continue down this path.
My experience began in 7th grade when I was just 13 years old. I vividly remember walking into the locker room before gym class, ready to change like I had done countless times before, but that day was different. As I entered the room, I was shocked to see a biological male standing there. I didn't know how to process what I was seeing, but I
Girl is 13 for crying out. This woke it needs to get out of society. It really does.
I chose to change in the individual bathroom because I wasn't comfortable in the locker room, along with several other girls. I would risk being late to class. At 13, I was too young to be put in such a situation, forced to make a choice between my privacy and my education. No young girl should have to navigate such a complex and uncomfortable experience at such an early age.
Love does not affirm lies. We are standing here with love for girls and boys who are forced to be in this situation. We know that we, in the second, are the adults in the room, and it is our responsibility to take care of these children. Thank God for the girls that have been speaking out, but it is not their problem, it is our problem as moms, dads, concerned citizens to take care of them.
Can't disagree with that one. You know, it's going to take everybody coming together and saying, yeah, enough is enough. This shouldn't be going on any longer. It's gone on for far too long. You know, but this is what happens, as you've heard me say many times now, when you create a weak, soft society where people can do what they want, where nobody's going to tell them no because either they agree with all of this stuff or they're scared to say no. We don't want to upset their feelings. You know, if they want to identify as the opposite gender, then that's all okay. Now, a tolerant society of absolutely everything is a weak society, and it's clear to see, you know, society has stood for everything for so long, which means they ended up standing for nothing, and we end up in this situation. And lastly, we have the Maine Wire posting additional images from the rally. In this one here, you have it's Chloe Cole with people there at the rally. That is amazing to see. You've got people all standing together, a sign that says Governor Mills is a traitor to girls. Absolutely right. And then you have people, men together with the American flag, which, you know, always an amazing sight, holding up signs saying protect our girls, no boys in girls sports. So it's going to be an interesting time nonetheless. We're going to have to wait and see what happens with this whole situation. I mean, it should never have reached this point. It should have never have reached a point where Trump has to sign an executive order, and still states are refusing. So you have people protesting. It shouldn't have reached this, because it should never have happened in the very first place. People are absolutely done with it. We need to move on from this issue. It can't continue to go on. It really can't. But leave your thoughts down below, ladies and gentlemen, on everything you've heard in this video. I'd like to know. Once again, if you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. But until next time, it has been your host, JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.